Anytime, Alex.
Oh, you're listening to Moonhawk Studios Presents.
Okay, welcome to Moonhawk Studios Presents, the show that presents Vuja Day, the sense that you haven't done something but should have.
Well, to be fair, it did happen. It's just it was on the other channel.
I suck.
I am your host. What's his name? AKA Mac Paladin.
Do we have to go through everything again?
That
Let's
was
just skip the
Adam.
news. No one had much news that wasn't
Elemental
on Dragons
Ogre is here. We've got the Galix, Petty Fan, Twilight Winter, and Sobe is here as well. And if you really want to hear our hilarious intro from before, you can listen to it on the Fragments of Silicon channel.
I'm a failure at life, I know, I'm sorry.
Petty Fan is going to be beaten with a rubber tire iron later on in the show.
Wait, rubber?
Yeah,
Yeah, why rubber?
because it bounces.
Wait, wouldn't that make it a tire rubber?
He's got you there, Mac.
He's got me. Okay, anyway, the professionally unprofessional podcast continues to steamroller on directly into the abyss.
Maybe we should just get to the interview. I think
Yeah,
everyone wants
well,
to get
the only thing I wanted to say by way of news, since I was the only person who did not reveal any news, was that at the end of the broadcast tonight, we will be showing the clip of Act 1, Scene 2 of Starship Moonhawk, a thing that I suddenly feel less enthusiastic about after the disaster of the opening of this program. But without further ado, I would love to introduce our guest for the evening before he ends up passing out. The moment you've all been waiting for, Richard Epcar.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to the program, such as it is.
I think the second introduction went much smoother than the first one, so it was good.
And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to hear that. Of course, your resume is. I would probably run out of time if I listed everything that you've ever done, but suffice it to say, we all love you, of course, in Dragon Ball Z, Ghost in the Shell, Macross Plus. You were in Robotech. I mean, it's just where to even begin, right?
Joseph Joestar.
Joker.
JoJo, yeah. Indeed. So many different things that you've been in.
Raiden and Mortal Kombat, those are big ones. Ansem and Kingdom Hearts, these are the big ones.
Absolutely. So I'll just jump right into my questions here.
Sure.
So when you were growing up, did you always have the acting bug, or did you see yourself as something else?
When I was growing up,
Indeed.
actually, when I was growing up, I always wanted to be an actor, so I think I succeeded in becoming what I wanted to be.
It has truly been your lifelong dream, then.
Yes, it has. I pretty much, since I was a little kid, I even in kindergarten and first grade, I would write these little skits and I would do them in the class and all that stuff. So I think I always kind of wanted to do this work. I had no idea what the hell I was getting into because it's a crazy business, but I've been very fortunate and very blessed and been working a lot. So I can't complain.
All right. Now we got a
You
two-part.
have like 47 people on your staff and they all just fell asleep on that last one.
Thanks, guys.
I'm just trying really hard not to say something right before someone else says something.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
doing
bad about that.
they're doing this odd thing where you're like one of the biggest celebrities we've had on the show, so they're pretending to be respectful.
I appreciate it. Well, cut it out, will you? And ask me.
Damn it, Max, all through our clever ruse.
All right, well, I got a fun one for my second one. It's a two-parter. Something you think everyone knows you for, and second, something you wish everyone knew you for.
Something I think people know me for?
Yeah.
I would say know me for the Joker, because that's a big one for me. That's to me, that's like a huge character, and he's a very iconic character. So, and he's also a lot of fun to play. So I really enjoy being the Joker. I've been in the Joker in Injustice, and then Injustice 2, which just came out. I'm also the Joker in that, and in Infinite Crisis and Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, and one that I would like the people to think. What was the other question? I don't know. I forgot. It was so long ago.
Oh, something that you wish everyone knew you for, but maybe doesn't.
What do they wish that they knew me for? The
No,
James.
what do
Bond
you wish
got
they
away.
knew you for?
I wish they knew me for the James Bond that got away.
Nice.
I have no idea. I mean, that's an interesting question. It's funny because I go to the conventions all over the world, and it's funny because people always, they don't always know who we are, and then when they read the stuff, they go, "Oh my God, you're in this, and you did that, and and it's like, yeah, and then it's kind of interesting because a lot of times people just don't have a clue. But they go, "Oh my God, I've been listening to you for." I had a lot of people tell me they've been listening to me for a long time, and they knew me in some of their favorite shows and some of their favorite games, and so that's always fun to hear. It's always nice.
Yeah, I mean, I had a moment like that when I saw that photograph of you and your wife with Bryan Cranston, and I'm like, oh my God, they were in Macross Plus together.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Now, I'm not one of those snooty purists that says subs rule, dubs drool. I'm one of those people that almost always listen to the dubs, for better or for worse.
Well, you don't have to focus on a dub.
The people that want to listen to the subs, they're welcome to do that. I mean, that's certainly their right to do that, even though they're wrong. But anyway.
something subs don't pay your bills.
So, yeah, exactly. Who cares? But the thing that always kind of cracks me up is that their argument is that the subs are closer to the actual Japanese or whatever they're watching, whatever show. But that's really not true. I mean, the subs can be as off, if not more so sometimes than the dub. So
you can't translate Japanese perfectly literally. The languages just don't work the same.
And when you do, it sounds ridiculous. So why want that?
We've also done episodes on localization versus the real deal.
Yeah. There's two schools of thought on this stuff. When we're talking about anime, there's people that are hardcore fans that really want it as close as possible to the original, which I completely understand. And then there's other people that say, let's broaden it to a bigger audience and let's let other people enjoy it too, and Americanize it a little bit and make it a little more user friendly to some of the people that are not so fanatical about it. And I think sometimes that's a nice way to go because you include more people and more people get involved. It's like Lupin the Third. We took a lot of liberties with the scripts on those on the Red Jacket series I'm talking about now, and people seem to really enjoy it. And we got a lot of people that were fans of the show that weren't necessarily fans of the show before. And now there's a new one coming out, which I wanted to plug in June the 17th of this month. It's going to be on Toonami at 2 a.m. They gave us a great time slot. But 2 a.m., it's going to be the Blue Jacket series, which I directed and adapted, and my wife also directed, Ellen Stern. And I'm back playing Jigen again, which I'm very happy about because I love Lupin, I love the show, and I love the character. So it's really, really fun to be back involved with that again.
Neat.
Yeah, I noticed that you and your wife have own and operate Epcar Entertainment. Just how many? I mean, how many projects do you have going at this particular moment?
How many things do we have going on?
Yeah, how many projects do you have going currently?
Oh, we've got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. Unfortunately, I can't talk about a lot of it.
Of course.
Original
NDAs and all
that. Series that I'm doing right now for Technicolor that I'm directing, and it's actually a very cute show. And like I said today, I had 3 jobs today. I did 2 games and a series that I'm working on. Unfortunately, I can't talk about any of those either.
Right.
But we keep very, very busy. We're always doing stuff. We're always busy. We're always involved in something. So that's kind of exciting, And we also do a lot of on-camera stuff as well. We've got this movie coming out, Altered Spirits, which I have a lead in, which is going to be released this year finally. And my wife Ellen wrote this new series that's kind of a sitcom that she and I are going to be doing. That's going to be coming out soon, and we just shot the teaser with Stephen Tobolowsky, was one of our cast members. So we're really excited. We got a lot of stuff going on. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more stuff from Epcar Entertainment that we don't normally get into. It's going to be a different thing, and a lot of new stuff coming out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now you've done acting, you've done directing. Which
what
part of the?
Did you lock them in the room? What happened to them?
They're here. They're just, again, they let me do this. They let me stumble through this whole interview process, and then
We'll
and then
jump in at some point.
Yeah,
don't
he's
worry.
actually asking good questions for a change. So
Are they y'all
He's
looking-
usually not as prepared, is what we're trying to say.
you what?
I'm usually not this prepared. They're saying.
Oh. So you've impressed them so much that they're dumbfounded. Is that what happened?
Either that or they're afraid I'll kick them off the call because I am the host and executive producer. So
I'm the only one with immunity to
where
that
are
because
you?
if I lose, if I'm gone, then the show's dead.
That's already happened before. We know
I
what happened.
suppose if you want, we can jump in here, but
well, all right. Why don't you guys go ahead
Are
and
you
jump
all-
in?
Are you all in different parts of the country? Are you all together? Or
Different
we are
parts.
all
over.
over the country.
I mean, we got one guy in Maine, we got one in Wisconsin,
yeah,
we got one in Ohio.
you have one in Wisconsin. Who was the other guy? Where was?
We have one in Maine and Ohio and Florida.
Missouri.
I said that already. Missouri. I'm in Arizona.
Wow.
Kentucky.
We
Yeah,
have the
so we're
ends
all-
covered.
Sorry.
That's amazing. How did you all get together to do this?
I love this. It's
Long
been
and
turned around.
story.
It's been
For one
turned
day.
around. One day I was invited onto another person's podcast, and I said, well, I know all these guys from this place, and one of them has broadcasting experience. I got a crazy idea. We're going to make a podcast and become famous.
One of those things happened.
Yeah.
One of them are not like the other.
Exactly.
So you met in some airport bar. That's what you know.
That's if you're talking about it. If you're talking about an internet chat room called the airport bar, then yes, that would be accurate.
Sure, why not?
And then some of us were fans of the podcast that he made that then got brought on
To my eternal shock, Richard, some of these guys actually paid me money to be on this program.
Wow.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I have to renegotiate my contract after hearing that.
Oh,
All right. I'll suspend my formal questioning. Why don't you guys, for lack of a better term, dogpile the guest for a little while?
You can continue your formal questioning. It's fine.
It feels more like an interrogation now.
Hold on, let me look at the lights.
I've been interrogated before. It's okay.
Oh man. So as I was saying before we tangented there, you've done many things in the business. You've done voiceover work, you've done acting, you've done directing, producing, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Which part of the business do you personally enjoy the most?
I'm really lucky. I really enjoy it all. I love being creative, and I think the acting, directing, and writing really pretty much come out of the same place, the same creative place, and I just really enjoy it. The difference between, like, people always say, what's the difference between acting and directing? And basically the difference is when you're acting, you're playing a piece of the puzzle, and when you're directing, you're basically putting the puzzle together. So I like them both very much, and I go through periods where I'm directing a lot and I go, oh, I really miss the acting, and then I'll go through periods where I'm just acting all the time and I go, I really miss the directing. But I've been really fortunate in that I get to do them both, and like I say, we've been very, very lucky and blessed, and been working constantly, so for a long time, probably longer than a lot of you have been alive.
Well, that's a possibility here. I believe I am the oldest cast member of this show. So
And I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
These damn kids, they keep telling them to get off my lawn, but they don't listen to me.
Well, you need a lawnmower. That'll do it.
Preferably a riding one, so I can chase them down the street.
There
That's
you go.
what Petty does. He cuts the lawn, so I don't know why you're complaining.
Yeah.
You can feel the love on this show, can't you?
Of course. I'm just overwhelmed by it.
All right. Oh, God, I feel stupid asking this question now, but I'm going to go for it because I have it written down. Complete this. A funny thing happened on the way to...
The forum.
Well, you can't go wrong with classic.
Damn it,
There
where's
you
my
go.
rim shot?
In that show, so it kind of is in my head, I don't know. About that. There's a lot of funny things that happen to me on a daily basis, actually, and like I say, we just keep going. I've got so many things going on and so many plates spinning that I just kind of go forward and don't think about. I try not to think too much about the stuff that's happened, and I just keep going forward, and that's all we can do, I think, at some point.
I hear that.
I don't know if that answered your question or not, but
No, that totally works. All right, well, we're down to my last, because I'm doing that whole Craig Kilborn 5 questions thing, right?
oh, okay, I had no idea. Are you going to ask me how I feel about them doing a mummy without Brendan Fraser? Because that's important.
We'll definitely cover that since you brought it up. Actually, I was going to talk to you about another live action, possibly fiasco that happened recently, as a prominent member of the Ghost in the Shell cast.
Yeah.
I noticed that back in 2011, you were pitching an idea for a live action Ghost in the Shell film. How do you feel? How do you feel about how they went with it? I'll be honest, I haven't seen it, so I can't pass judgment on it. But what did you think of the new film?
You know what? It really wasn't bad. I thought they did a nice job. Visually, it was really beautiful. I thought there was much ado about nothing about Scarlett Johansson. I thought she did a nice job, and I think they gave her a lot of shit about for nothing, for no reason. To be honest with you, the major in the series doesn't really particularly look Asian, or is not necessarily Asian, but perhaps her ghost is Asian, but her body, her shell is not necessarily look Asian, so I don't see the real problem. The people in Japan had no problem with it at all. It was the people in America that were, going bazibas about the whole thing. And, I thought they did a nice job. There was a couple of things that did bother me. So I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to hear this, you should probably cover your ears for the next 15. There you go. But there's a thing in the movie where they basically talk about where they get her ghost from, and apparently she was kidnapped, and then they removed her ghost and put her in a robot or a cyborg. And in the series, the reason they call her Major is because she was in the military, and it makes more sense that she was someone that was perhaps hurt or killed or whatever in the military, and then they kind of reanimated her instead of someone that they kidnapped. Because why would you just call somebody you kidnapped from a neighborhood a major? Why would you give him that rank? So it didn't really make sense to me, that part of it. But they took a few little liberties with the story, but a lot of the stuff was very close to the original. A lot of it was really good, and I think visually it looks pretty damn good. Of course, they should have had me play Bateau, but they didn't. It was funny. We had a thing here in LA, where I'm based out of, and it's one of the Lemeleys, which is kind of an art house theater. And they called me up and said, "Would you come down and introduce? We're going to show the original Ghost in the Shell animated feature," which when it came out was the #1 video of the year. And I said, yeah, I would be happy to do that. So I went there and I introduced the movie. And then after the movie, there was this Asian gentleman sitting in the audience, and everyone kind of left, and he was kind of there, and he said, "Can I meet you?" I said, "Of course." And we started talking for a while, and it turns out he he was the actor in the new movie. He plays Togusa in the new Ghost in the Shell film. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. I said, it's really great to meet you, you know, and I'm really excited about the new movie. And he said, well, we're really excited about the old movie. And he said, as a matter of fact, the director gave us all, you know, your movies. And he said, we've been listening to you guys, and basically we've been basing our characters off of your portrayal. So I thought that's kind of cool, actually.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
I thought that was really neat. So I kind of liked that. And it was really nice to meet him. So
Yeah, it seemed like they were trying. It seemed like from the clips that I saw with the side by side comparisons from the original animation of the first movie,
yeah,
it seemed like they were trying really hard to be faithful to the source material.
yeah, they absolutely were. They absolutely were. And I think they did a great job. Listen, Mamoru Oshii, who did the original film, said this was the best Ghost in the Shell ever, and he said, you know, they were doing a spectacular job, and it's the most beautiful Ghost in the Shell that they've ever done. So, I mean, you know, he would know more than anybody would know, you know. So, I thought it came off really nice,
Hmm.
and I thought she looked pretty damn good in that suit. So there you go.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I really like that because that gives us some insight, you know, into the whole process, because you know there's things are always more than the sum of their parts. I like to think,
Yeah.
you know, so to actually hear these commentaries from the inside is kind of neat.
Yeah, and we were invited on Mary Elizabeth McGlenn, who does the voice of the Major, along with me doing the voice of Bateau and Ghost of the Shell.
Mhm.
We were both invited on CNN and were interviewed about it before the movie came out, and that was pretty cool to be on there and talk about the movie. And you can see that if you go to my website, which is richardepcar.com,
Mhm.
you can see our interview there on my website.
Oh, outstanding!
Yeah,
Outstanding.
and a bunch of other crap on there.
All righty. You've done anime and video games. Do you have a preference towards doing dubbing for anime or for video games?
Well, you know, they're both fun. Honestly, the games pay a lot better, so that's kind of nice. You know, and I do like being part of. And not only do they pay better, but generally the games seem to reach a bigger audience.
Hmm.
So that's kind of a nice thing. But there, you know, I'm doing a few series right now that are really cool shows, and I'm really enjoying being part of them. And I can't really mention JoJo what the name of the show is, but but it's really fun working on that.
I think we're going to have to get at least one oh my god before we're done here.
Oh my God!
Yes. I'm done. Later, guys.
Ogre, I'll record that for you later. I believe you have a new ringtone for your phone.
That's actually a very popular show. People love that show for some reason. He's really a fun character to play. I really love playing him.
Mhm.
So
Now, go ahead. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, it's like Ogre's the JoJo fanatic here, so.
well, there you go.
We're going to give everybody in turn an opportunity to talk to you about their particular favorite shows.
Okay.
Anyway, I do have a question, and it
Go for it.
relates to you've played like multiple incarnations of like Bato or Jigen, and I'm wondering, do you play those incarnations differently, or is it like the same?
Well, you know, everything depends on the style of the show that you're doing. So, you know, when you're doing, you know, for example, this new Lupin that we did is kind of a little more. It's a little more serious. It's not as goofy as the Red Jacket series that we did. So, you know, you played a little straighter. You know, they brought me in to play Inspector Zenigata in Fujiko Mine. That was done by Funimation in Texas, and they brought me into Texas to play that character, and which was interesting because you know, it was a little weird because you know, Jigen's my guy, but you know, Chris Sabat does him in the Texas cast, So, but it was very, very nice of him to include me in the show, and he brought me in to play the inspector. And Inspector Zenigata in that particular show is very dark and very serious, unlike the Inspector Zenigata that we had in the Red Jacket series, who was just a bumbling lunatic, you know. So, you know, it really depends on the style of the show and what you're doing. And, you know, you do have a connection with having played these characters before. Bato and Jigen really are like, to me, they're like old worn in suits that just fit perfectly. You know, they just throw them on and, you know, just go right to it because, you know, these are characters that I just, you know, I live with. So but you know, it's fun, you know, it's really fun. I love going back and playing those characters. It was so much fun for me to go back. That was one of the things I've always wanted. You know, people say, well, what would you want to do? And Lupin the Third was one thing I really wanted to go back and revisit because I had so much fun with the original, and I was really glad we got to do it again. So, you know, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes it comes true.
True enough. True enough.
There you go.
I'm looking forward to the dub of the Blue Jacket series.
Yeah, June 17th on Toonami. So check it out. It's really, the animation's really beautiful, and that was kind of the problem with the Red Jacket series. It was obviously a series from the 70s.
Yeah, it was pretty good animation for 1970 whatever.
Yeah, 70 whatever. But the weird thing
guys.
was the producers wanted to, you know, contemporaryize the whole thing, and I'm not sure that it worked because if you look at the cartoon, they're obviously in the 70s, and they're making all these current references, and I just thought that was kind of a weird deal. But you know, we play the new one contemporary because it takes place now, so it's kind of nice that you know, we could do that.
Right.
So I have a question.
Yeah, good.
Do you prefer playing heroes, villains, or like characters that are in between?
Or D, all of the above.
All right, cool.
You know,
Because
I enjoy playing all of them. You know, obviously villains are really fun to play because then you can chew up the scenery and be evil and all that stuff, depending on who the villain is. But you know, it's always fun to play. Joker is just a really outlandish, crazy villain, and then you know, like Ansem is kind of a smoother. You know, it's really fun to play some of these really sophisticated, smooth villains. Those are kind of fun to play too. You know, kind of like the Bond villains. You know, the ones that are just you know, very sophisticated but, you know, very evil. So you know, those are always a lot of fun. You know, it's just great. Like I said, I've been very, very fortunate, and I get to play a wide range of characters and a lot of different things, and you know, and then it is fun to play the hero too. You know, to save the day and be the good guy. So that's a lot of fun too.
Speaking of the Joker, since he's come up so many times,
Yeah,
I have to ask the question. You and Mark Hamill, is there a rivalry?
are we married? No, we're not. No, there's no rivalry. You know, but here's the deal with Mark Hamill. You know, when I first did the Joker in Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, I got just a shitstorm of stuff from the fans because they love Mark Hamill, and that's fine. I completely understand that. Because you know, I'm a huge James Bond fan, and I love Sean Connery. And when he left, I felt like he was the best Bond. So, I mean, I completely understand that whole feeling. But you know, these characters are iconic, and they're going to go on forever. When Mark's gone, when I'm gone, there's still going to be people doing the Joker and Batman and Superman, and all these characters are going to live on forever. And you know, basically, and this is true. People don't really realize this because it was kind of funny when I first did the Joker. People were coming out on the internet and saying that I was trying to copy Mark, which is funny because to this day, and this is true, I've never heard Mark's Joker. I've never heard him do the Joker, and I purposely don't want to hear him do the Joker because I don't really want that in my head. I just kind of, you know, I don't want to play an actor playing a character. I'm playing a character, so whatever I do as my Joker is from what I've assembled and what I've created, and it has nothing to do with what somebody else has put together. You know, obviously, when you're doing an iconic character like that, you want that character to sound like the character you want him to sound. So I was, my whole thing was playing that character,
Right.
not to play someone who sounded like the character playing the character. You know what I mean? Because that to
Yeah,
me, that's not really good acting. That's bad acting.
it's
Uh,
like the difference between, say, Mel Gibson or Kenneth Branagh playing Hamlet.
yeah. Well, they're
Yeah.
both going to have their own version of it, and and Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet's going to be different than Mel Gibson because Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet won't be anti-Semitic, but
Holy shit.
Oh my lord.
but
This is the
but
greatest
anyway,
show ever.
but you know what I'm saying. I mean,
I hear you.
whoever's doing the role, they're gonna bring themselves to that part, and it's going to be different. Um, it's going to be different, and they're going to imbue it with their own personality and their own being, and make it real for them. And that's what I do with the Joker. Now, people always say to me, Have you talked to Mark about it and all? And no, I haven't talked to Mark about it. I actually worked with Mark on one project, and it was before I got the Joker. It was for Robotech Shadow Chronicles, and I co-directed that with Sue Blue and played
Oh.
Captain Vince Grant in that, and Mark was also in it. And I was excited for Mark to be in it because of Star Wars, and I didn't
Right.
I really am not familiar with his Joker work. But I know that he's very beloved and the fans love him, and that's great. And I certainly would not try to take that away or disparage that in any way. But I think there's room enough in this universe, in this Batman universe, for other portrayals. Just like I think Christian Bale does a great Batman, and I also think that Ben Affleck does a great Batman. I think they're both valid portrayals of Batman. So
Well, and especially for a character like the Joker, who admits himself that he's kind of a multiple choice character.
yeah, there you go. And he's changed dramatically. If you look at him, there's so many different incarnations of the Joker. But listen, I was just thrilled to play him, and I love playing him, and I love to do more of the Joker. I love to do a lot more stuff with him, and I've been doing a lot of different things in the Batman world. I also co-directed Arkham Origins and played 3 characters in that. And I'm also Commissioner Gordon in this new original animated series by Warner Brothers called Batman Unlimited. So I'm all over that Batman universe. I really enjoy being part of that. It's kind of a cool thing, and it's worked out. It's one of those things that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. I used to read the Batman comic, that stuff. So it's really it's a big treat for me to be part of this thing.
Yeah. Well, superheroes are like our modern legends. 1,000 years from now, people may look back on us and say, "Did these people think they were gods or something?"
Yeah, well,
Could
be. Yeah, it could be.
They're
left in 1,000 years. I hope you're right.
there's always that concern with what with President Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. President Crazy Pants McGee in office. We don't know what
I don't use that word. I just call him the Grand Comb Over or something.
Whatever.
We're you're safe here. We're a pretty lefty podcast, so
good. Yeah, and I certainly don't want to alienate any of my fans, and I don't want to.
No, of course not.
Upset anybody, but I don't know. I think you'd have to be kind of crazy to still try to defend this president. He's just been bad. But let's not go off on that. That's all.
Right. No. We'll move on to sunnier subjects here.
Okay.
Now, of all the characters that you've played throughout the years, do you have a particular favorite?
Well, a lot of those ones we named were really, Ansem's a lot of fun, and Joseph Joestar and the Joker. I love Raiden in Mortal Kombat. He's one of my absolute favorites, and one of the reasons I love him so much is because he is just to me is a very noble and honorable character, and I really enjoy playing him tremendously. It's kind of like a lot of times when I do the Joker, I'll play Raiden, and so it's kind of like they're yin and yang. One's this despicable, evil character, and this other one is just this very noble, well-principled, high-principled character. So, he to me is just a really, really wonderful character to play, and I love playing.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around David Carradine's performance in the live-action movie that they did several years ago.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Interesting though. I worked on a million years ago when they did the original Mortal Kombat film with Christopher Lambert as Raiden. I did some voice work on.
See that now? See now I'm stupid. That you just caught me on that one. I was wrong. That was Christopher Lambert.
Oh, okay. I was going to go, wow, did they do one with David Carradine? I mean, that would almost make sense in a way to do one with David Carradine. But anyway,
right.
They, with Christopher Lambert, who was kind of bizarre, to tell you the truth. But you know, I did some voice work on that, and so did Ed Boon, who runs NetherRealm Studios, who does all of the Mortal Kombat and all of the Injustice games. So that was kind of cool, and I didn't even realize that he had worked on that with me until I saw the credits of the movie. I happened to be watching the movie, and I'm going, because I worked on it like a million years ago, and I said, oh, I'll just, you know, and I watched it, and it was pretty bad. But anyway, we ran the credits at the end, and I said, oh my God, Ed Boon did some voices on this thing, you know, so that was kind of interesting.
That's kind of the fun thing, you know, you find that whole small world thing going on there.
Yeah, well, he's obviously been really into this thing, you know, since the beginning, and you know, and I'm so thrilled that they made me part of their world. I got to tell you, and they're just a great group to work with, and so it's been awesome. What do you do? It sounds like you're adding something on your adding machine over there. What is going on over there?
It wasn't me. Who's doing that? Adam?
Sorry, I typed a thing a second ago. I might have typed too loud.
That's okay. I thought you were adding.
Well, that's okay, because it sounded like somebody else was using a whoopee cushion earlier, and I was about to, you know, snarl angrily at somebody that's like, "Shut up, guys! Richard's speaking."
I am on mute. Tick.
We try to have fun on this podcast. That's what I keep telling myself.
You know what? I try to have fun in life, and you know, life is short, guys, and you got to enjoy yourself and have fun, because it all goes by very quickly. And you know, I've worked on a lot of projects that were just, you know, torturous, to be honest with you. And I try not to work on those projects anymore. I try to just work on things that that are going to be, you know, enjoyable and fun, and that's a big pull for me. Is you know, am I going to have a good time on this, or is it going to be, you know, like pulling teeth? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I ran into a scenario myself that you know, I find myself single again at 40, and you know, it actually gave me a lot of motivation to really give my creative projects a kick in the ass. So
yeah,
you know, lucky for us, allegedly humans live longer now, so you know, starting over again at 40 doesn't seem like such a tragedy, but you know, for so many people, they just don't get it, you know.
As Mike Forrest, who is a wonderful actor and voice guy in his own right, once said to me, life begins after 40. So, and after he said that to me, I got this job working 9 months supervising for DreamWorks Pictures. And I went all over the world supervising their films. I did Galaxy Quest and Gladiator and Madagascar and Chicken Run and all these films. And I traveled all over the world. It was fantastic. So, you know, you never know. You never know. And 40 is still very young. So you got a lot of life ahead of you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm starting to embrace that philosophy. I in some ways, I feel like I didn't really truly live until now. You know,
Yeah.
Too busy focusing on mundane minutia that amounted to pretty much nothing.
Well, you know, listen, it's tough. It's tough to be in the creative side of things. It's very tough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta chase your dream, because you know what? There's no guarantees in life, and I've had a lot of friends who chose really boring things to do with their life because they thought it was safe and they thought they would have a steady income and all that stuff, and a lot of them were laid off, you know, and so there's no guarantees on anything. So you might as well go for something that you enjoy and you want to do, and that makes you happy, because you know, that's
absolutely
the whole magoo about being here.
Yeah, well, rumor had it back in 1995 when I started college, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, man, computers are the future. If you get into like computer repair or something like that, it's gonna be great." And I'm like, "All right." And then I got my associate's degree, and the initials for it are Associate of Science Information Systems. So I like to call it the as-is degree. And about that time, that's when I said, I'm going to make my money in comics.
We have a degree in computers, and you didn't start the show.
We have a sound crew. That's why he's called an associate producer. My association with him may be terminated very soon. No, but jokes aside, we try to have fun here. It's like I can only cut their salary of 0 by so much,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's like I'm going to dock you 45%. Why does my calculator say cannot divide by 0? All right. Let me open up the floor a little bit, guys. You guys, anybody else got anything they want to throw at Richard before we?
Yeah, go ahead. People have thrown things at me all my whole life, so it's all right.
Oh my goodness. Can I go?
Go for it,
Sure.
Sobe.
Good. You have a lovely voice.
Here. It's finally my turn.
Yay.
We've heard you talk a lot about your work. I just wanted to know more about what do you do outside of work? What's something interesting about you that not many people know? An interesting hobby, maybe.
I wish I had time for a hobby. I honestly don't have a lot of
Hardest
time.
working man in voice acting.
Yeah, I'm
That's
really
hilarious.
crazy busy all the time. So it's been pretty nutty. I once in a blue moon, if I've got some time, it's very rare, I'll go out and try to play a round of golf. I'll try to get together with my buddies when I can. I love to go to the movies. I love seeing films. I love music. I play in a band. I play drums, and I was in a band called the LA River Band, and we played at the Viper Room and the Hard Rock Cafe and a bunch of other places like that. It was really fun. That was kind of my therapy that I did. But that band broke up, and I'm in a new band now, so we'll see how that goes. And
Nice.
and it's just, it's really fun. That's kind of my thing that I do when I can. I have a wonderful family. They're very talented. My son's a professional drummer, and he played with a group called Carney, who opened for U2 in Canada and toured with Fergie and opened for her in Vegas. And he plays on all the Broadway shows. He was on Spider-Man and Hamilton and Amelie and a bunch of shows like that. And he just came out with his own album. And my daughter, who's amazing singer songwriter, and did all the music actually for my wife and sitcom that we're going to be doing, and she's an incredible singer. And so I keep busy with all of that stuff, and I have fun. I love to barbecue. That's one thing I really enjoy, and I love to socialize with people. That's like my fun thing, But it's really hard sometimes to do it because I'm so busy all the time. But yeah, that's kind of my deal.
My mad props for the drummer parts, because my late grandfather actually played with Dave Dudley and his band before Dave Dudley went to Nashville.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole saga about hating Ed McMahon until the day he died. We won't get into that. That's a whole show by itself.
Yeah, I understand that wouldn't be too hard. But yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's really like I say, it's my therapy that I do, and I enjoy it, and I like singing, and we do a lot of that. So it's just been really, that's been a lot of fun, and I love doing the cons. I love traveling all over the place. We've been really fortunate. We've been, to Australia. We've been to England and Scotland and Ireland and a bunch of places and all over the United States doing conventions. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow we're going to Atlantic City. So if you're in Atlantic City or in that area, please come see us. Ellen and I are going to be at Anime Next, which is at the Atlantic City Convention Center. And it's going to be this weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we have a lot of good guests there. So come check us out if you're going to be there.
All right, I have one last question.
Yes.
Is there?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Love it.
My last question is there any question that we didn't ask that we should have?
Well, there's a lot of really crazy anime things that you guys didn't mention, like Legend of Korra, Monster, Bleach, Lull in the Sea, Hunter x Hunter, SAO2, which is kind of interesting because I play Thor in that one. So I'm the Thunder God, and I'm also Raiden, who's the God of Thunder. So I'm both of those guys. It's kind of crazy.
I believe Adam is going to remain silent on Sword Art Online.
You're thinking of Ogre.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Berserk, and you guys know about Bobo.
Yes.
See, Adam, Ogre, and Petty Fan, and the Golics, and Twilight Winter. They're part. I think I mentioned this to you on Facebook. They're all part of what I call the Toonami live tweeting crew. And so they watch all of these shows. Me, I have like 2 jobs and a movie I'm making. So.
Well, there you go. Well, good luck with your movie. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, well, I may talk to you about that later when we're off air, but.
All right.
Yeah, whilst we're doing this, I've been spinning through your IMDb page, and there are a lot more things. Like, obviously, there are a lot of things on here that I knew you were in, but there are a lot of things in here that I didn't know you were in, and that's kind of impressive.
And they're also missing about 200 credits, so there you go.
Whoa.
Yeah,
you know, I had another voice actor complain about this particular thing, and that was, he says, my resume looks kind of skimpy because of all the NDAs.
No.
I love it. Incisive, to the point.
Yes. And then, are you guys gamers? Do you like games?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a show.
Their other show, the one that we accidentally almost broadcast to, is all about games, but go ahead, please.
Well, Final Fantasy, which is a big one, Saints Row, Mafia 3, which just came out, Skyrim, which was a big one, Call of Duty, I'm in a bunch of those, Emblem Awakening, I play Walhart, which is kind of, I don't know if you saw that thing online, they had a big blow up of Walhart on top of Walmart.
I love it.
I love Walhart's design because he looked like Bato. Like almost a cut and paste job. Even the eyes look similar.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want to get too typecast as big buff white haired guys.
The guest talk.
As long as the check's clear, I don't care. But X-Men, there's a lot of stuff in there that people really dig. This new one, Persona 5, just came out. That's kind of a cool one, right? Have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
If we had Naka Talili on the program right now, he'd be talking about Persona probably incessantly.
All right, keep your enthusiasm in check there, guys. So, but yeah, it is a people. Transformers is a big one. I'm part of. Star Wars, I'm a big part of that one. I'm in a lot of the Star Wars games and play several characters. World of Warcraft and League of Legends and a lot of Oh, there's one that I really enjoy, Samurai Warriors. Have you guys heard that one?
Oh, yeah.
Played Dong Zhuo in that. He's all about women, booze, power, and who could blame him?
All the important things.
Yes, exactly. I think in that order too, actually.
Right. Oh man, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a big one that I just came out in that a lot of people don't know. I play Akuma in Street Fighter 5.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of them there. I'm not going to read them all. There's a whole.
Well, like I said, your IMDb page and plus all of your myriad credits, as I mentioned, they're legion. I mean, man, if we talked about each and every one of them, we'd probably never get off the air.
We'd be here till dawn at least.
Not that I'm complaining, mind you.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this thoroughly, I have to say.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Me too.
There you go.
Does anybody else have any other questions for me?
Come on, Ogre. You got to have something.
Yeah, come on, Ogre.
Well, I think the only question I was going to ask is that you worked on Final Fantasy XIV, but then the cast kind of changed on you there. What happened with that one? That seemed to be an in-house decision.
I don't know. I played, there was a very cool character I played called Gaius von Balsar, and he was one of the villains in there. And then they had me back, and I'm not sure which incarnation it was, but then I played this guy called
Ilbert Fear.
Ilbert, yeah, Ilbert, that's right. And you know, people get mad at me sometimes because it's like I have to think for a second, because I've done over 500 characters, and it's it's hard to remember all their names.
You're doing a great job so far.
Thank you. But it's not easy, and the reason I kind of started remembering was because I went to the conventions, and man, at the conventions they really want you to know this stuff. They get very disappointed if you don't. So to kind of
you once had one line in Tales of the Abyss. I believe you were a guard. How did you feel when you were doing that part?
Yeah, or asked me about something I did like 25 years ago, and asked me episode 13. It's like I didn't remember being at that show, let alone the episode.
God, it's like the Shatner thing from '86 on Saturday Night Live when they're like, "Yes, in episode 13, the enemy within," and he's like, "Get a life, people."
Exactly. It's hilarious. Well, we live that a lot, actually. One of the movies I worked on, and I was very honored to work on it, was Galaxy Quest, and I love that movie. I've seen that movie probably 100 times, and every time I see it, I laugh. And I just love it, and there's so much truth in that movie about the conventions, and it just I get a big kick out of it, and I think they do a really nice, loving portrayal of that whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite genre parodies because it's so tongue in cheek, and yet it hits you right in the feels.
It's one of the fairly rare things that manages to be a successful parody of a thing while also being a pretty good actual of the thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It really does. It really does.
I always do the Saros bit. It's like, I sense fear. That is to be expected.
They could have hired me to do Saros, but they did know.
Awesome. All right. Richard, if you can hang out for just a few more minutes, we're going to run a clip of what's going on in my movie right now to end the podcast rather than our usual feeble attempt at discussion.
All right.
And then we'll chat in the post. But it's been great having you on the show, and I'll be sure to I've got a few more things to say before we sign off. So while you're at it there, hit it, Petty Fan. That's your name.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, so it looks like it's
Go
playing.
on without me.
Walking going on.
Well done, Lord Cardew. I guess now these simpletons will think twice before challenging the might of the Alliance.
I don't think it was wise to kill Kraz. He was a war hero after all.
In order to make an omelet, eggs must be broken. Besides that, I think it's a bit late in the day for you to be getting sanctimonious with me, Gardu.
Maybe we should back off and reconsider.
You will do precisely as you're told! Besides, what would your brethren think if it were revealed what you are really doing here, Lord Gardu?
You wouldn't dare!
Then stick to the plan, and everything will be status quo, per our arrangement.
And what if I am no longer satisfied with the terms of our agreement?
Then I would be forced to reevaluate your contribution to my operation.
As he sticks a gun in his
A
chest.
rather interesting negotiating tactic. You make a very compelling point.
Don't engage me in a shell game, Gardu. I will meet my objectives with or without your help.
I caught a couple of minnows swimming up the wrong stream, sir.
And you won't want to miss this, I assure you.
By Castella. If the Kraltic have already sent operatives, what will we do?
Simple. We send them a message. Take care of this, if you would, Miss Bustier.
Are you insane? I can go along for killing Kras for the good of the cause, but angering the Kraltic invites destruction upon us all.
Really now? And how many Mercadians dispatch Kraltic officers with Alliance-issue weapons?
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
They knew we were here. It's my fault. I should have seen it coming.
We cannot just sit here mourning the death of your brother, Melia. The entire mission has been compromised.
The mission? It wasn't supposed to happen like this. You promised he wouldn't be involved, and now he's dead. Castella, damn you!
No! That's enough, Malaya. And that's quite enough out of you too, Colonel.
But sir, Yes, sir.
Midnight. 2 and a box.
Shasta, would you think any less of me if after that little display I was able to find a shred of sympathy for Gardo's cause?
Colonel, you're an officer. It would be impossible for me to think less of you than I already do. Let's go now, sir.
All right. I got to say, gold star performances from Brian Olvera, James Larrabee as Admiral Coulson, and of course we have Skylar Davenport as Malaya, Keith W. as Admiral Micaiah Paladin, and Monica Wolfkill as Shasta, and my good friend Kimberly Godwin plays Colonel Karma. Also, whoever's hitting the whoopee cushion, stop it.
It's not me.
I think it might actually be a phone vibrating.
Awesome. Somebody's getting messages. and it comes across as that's just great. All right. So once again, that was our latest clip from Starship Moonhawk, the Mercadian Affair. We will be working on Act 1, Scene 3 this weekend. Hopefully we'll be able to get all the dialogue in place so we can do a test run of that as well. And then we'll weave the whole thing together. There's a few pickup bowls that haven't been recorded and inserted there. You may have heard some weird gaps in there. That's because there's a lack of dialogue. But it's really exciting, and it's only been getting better since we added actual animation to our movie comic here. So I'm very excited about that.
If it makes you feel better, Mac, every once in a while I kept having a Cinema Sins moment. I kept thinking, oh, the movies are usually good anyway, so.
Nice. All right. Again, humongous thank you to Richard Epcar for being a great sport and coming on with us in spite of our technical difficulties.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And that sounded great. You guys did a great job.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Be sure to check out his latest projects and happenings at richardepcar.com. On behalf of the crew at Moonhawk Studios Presents. Oh, actually, before I sign off, I do have to give a quick shout out to who we're having next week, but I can't remember who it is, so I'm fired.
They must have left quite an impression on you.
Yeah, because I don't have that information in front of me, so...
I think our next guest is Kara Dennison of Conscrew. She also works with Big Con Pottermore. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Potter.
Yeah. So really, really excited about that. She's one of the people that volunteered to be on the program.
The fools.
The fools. All right. Well, with that in mind, on behalf of the crew at Moonhawk Studios Presents, I am your host, such as I am, Matt Paladin, saying thanks for listening and stay safe out there, kids.